In the first of this video series, we talked about patient capital and about why affordable housing is so difficult to finance. Not because land is unavailable, not because communities do not care, not because builders do not want the work. The difficulty comes from the way the financial system handles risk. Lenders want stabilization before they will lend with confidence. Affordable housing begins in uncertainty, and banks do not finance uncertainty. They finance predictability. So the question becomes, what is the actual tool that lets patient capital step in? What is the instrument that turns community goodwill into real housing? Hi, I'm Keith Wiebe Gordon, the co-founder of Anhart, a national nonprofit helping local nonprofits, municipalities, and indigenous organizations develop affordable housing in Canada from coast to coast to coast. I want to introduce the core instrument we use to put patient capital to work, the Anhart Affordable Homes 2019 Limited Partnership. This is the tool. This is the bridge. This is how patience becomes housing. A limited partnership is a legal structure that allows investors to participate in a shared mission while limiting their liability. It is one of the most common instruments in Canadian real estate development. But in Anhart's case, it is used for a very specific purpose: affordable housing that stays community-based and nonprofit aligned. Our National Impact Investment Partnership allows accredited investors to support projects across Canada, while keeping each project separate and locally grounded. That matters because the equity gap in affordable housing is rarely solved by one heroic donor. It is solved by structured participation, many local acts of patience, organized through one national partnership. In Anhart's approach, the limited partnership works like a national umbrella. The umbrella is held by the general partner, Anhart Investments, and it creates a protected space underneath it, where many limited partners can stand together. The investors don't hold the umbrella themselves. They aren't responsible for steering each project day to day, but they benefit from the structure, the governance, and the careful management that the umbrella provides, and they are free to come and go over time while the mission continues. Under that umbrella, the limited partnership has two distinct uses. The first is long-term ownership. Some projects are developed directly under the Anhart umbrella. In those cases, the LP may remain the long-term beneficial owner of the housing. The building stays affordable, the nonprofit mission stays intact, and the partnership becomes part of the permanent infrastructure of community housing. But there is a second use. Many nonprofits, municipalities, and indigenous organizations do not want Anhart to own their housing. They want to own it themselves. They want local control, and they should. In those cases, the Anhart LP becomes an umbrella during the stormy development stage. It can provide the equity bridge, the pre-development funding, and the gap financing that helps the local organization get the project to stabilization. At this point, people often ask an important question: who exactly is Anhart? And the honest answer is that Anhart is not a single company. It is more like an ecosystem, a family of aligned nonprofit and mission-driven organizations designed to do one thing: help communities create affordable housing from start to finish, and keep it affordable. People sometimes call Anhart a vertically integrated, full-cycle, national nonprofit housing developer. What that really means is simple. We work across the entire housing journey, from the earliest spark of an idea to a fully built and occupied building, and then into long-term nonprofit ownership and operations. We do not just do one piece. We support the whole chain: feasibility, development consulting, patient capital, design and construction partnerships, and long-term stewardship. That continuity reduces risk. Projects do not fall between institutional cracks. There is accountability and there is mission alignment all the way through. One of the most important parts of this ecosystem is the Anhart Foundation. The foundation is Anhart's front door. It provides early-stage pre-development support at no charge to local nonprofits, municipalities, and indigenous housing organizations. That means helping a community evaluate a property, testing feasibility, introducing financing pathways, connecting with experienced partners, and shaping a project before money is at risk. Most communities never get past the first step. They have the need, but not the technical development capacity. So Anhart begins by serving, not by charging. In Canada, most participants in the LP are accredited investors. These are local people who meet legal financial thresholds, business owners, professionals, retirees, people who want their capital to serve something real. The LP gives them a lawful and structured way to participate. Investors often ask, is this a loan? Is it debt? Or is it equity? The answer is that it is equity participation in a partnership. Limited partners are not making a charitable donation. They are participating in a patient impact investment vehicle. That matters because equity is different from debt. Equity can wait. Equity can absorb risk. Debt demands payment on schedule. Affordable housing usually cannot begin with rigid debt. It begins with patient equity. Patient capital is needed for two reasons. First, it is needed during development, in the uncertain years when projects are most fragile. LP capital is used for pre-development costs like design, consultants, permits, land deposits, early acquisitions, and bridge financing before long-term mortgages are in place. But second, patient capital is often still needed after stabilization, because affordable housing almost always carries an equity gap that permanent financing alone does not fully close. The LP helps fill that remaining gap, so the housing can stay affordable without being pushed into market logic. Patient capital does not earn returns through speculation. It earns returns through project maturity. The LP is structured around a preferred rate of return, meaning limited partners receive their preferred return before any upside is shared. Returns are paid from distributable cash after approved expenses, reserves, and obligations, and each investor's position is tracked through their capital account. As projects stabilize, risk declines, tenants move in, and permanent financing replaces interim financing. At that point, patient capital can often be repaid or refinanced out, and investors begin to receive their return. The partnership also includes structured redemption provisions, typically after a defined period such as 3 years, subject to liquidity. This is not a stock market exit, but it is also not an indefinite lock. Patient exit is built into the structure. You may also hear legal terms like bare trustee and beneficial owner. Often, title is held by Anhart Community Housing Society, a nonprofit society as bare trustee, meaning the charitable organization holds legal title for lender and administrative purposes, while beneficial ownership, the true economic and mission ownership, rests with the LP, or the nonprofit end owner. This protects affordability. It helps ensure the housing cannot be casually sold into the market. It keeps homes in community hands. Finally, one of the most important ideas in Anhart is decentralization. Canada does not need one central housing developer. It needs hundreds of local ones. So the LP is built like a network. Each community project is distinct. Each municipality is distinct. Each indigenous partner is distinct. The LP is a platform that allows patient capital to flow into many places at once, without losing local control. That is the deeper philosophy. One partnership, many communities, shared patience, local ownership, and homes that remain. In the next videos, we will show patient capital at work in real projects. Hotel conversions in Winnipeg, high-rise replacement in Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal, affordable apartments in the Maritime provinces, affordable home ownership developments in rural communities, and modular housing developments with Indigenous leadership. Each one will show how patient capital moves through the LP and becomes housing. Because the point is not finance. The point is homes. If you would like to learn more about how the Anhart Affordable Homes 2019 limited partnership works, or how your community might use patient capital safely and legally, we would be glad to continue the conversation.